Welcome, folks. This is the second of two special calls, and we're going to do just a recording on this one. So if anybody comes in the Zoom room, there'll be a slight interruption. But we're looking at why should I cleanse, basically. And as a prep for a summer cleanse, we're starting our group process, which is a 3-week process on June 28th. That will run through July 18th. And you can start somewhere around that. And then what I do on my cleanses is we do a start off email, we do a start off exam, we do a start off intake form, and we differentially diagnose or assess people to give them the proper cleanse. And there's a lot of reasons why we would do that. But what I've run across is if we have low vitality and we're asked to clean up our room, for example, when we're a kid, we're not going to clean up our room because we're tired. And so we need to determine a person's vitality before the first context of cleansing. So we need to test to see if you have weak adrenals, for example. And so we do a blood pressure check for that, lying down 5 minutes, take your blood pressure. Then you have to stand up and take your blood pressure immediately upon standing. It's called Dr. Ragland's test. It's been around since the 70s. And very effective way of assessing adrenal fatigue. You can also do Chinese pulses. Specifically, the lowest one is the kidney adrenal pulse down here at the bottom. There's 6 meridians on each arm. That's 3 meridians. You press deep for the other 3. Pulse taking is not something an amateur should do, but generally, you have a general pulse that you feel like. And if the pulse feels narrower and weaker and deeper than it normally does, and you probably shouldn't be cleansing because your chi has gone internal into your body. Your body temperature is another one. If you're normally about 98, 98.6 and it drops down to 95, there's another one you probably want to take advantage of. And then swollen tongue. I've been doing all liquid in this SP detox shake and a little bit of stuff there. So you want to assess via the tongue being bigger than it normally is. And there's lots of ways that we assess people for cleanses. So we should cleanse for a number of reasons. I'm going to jump into a little PowerPoint here. And then this will, if you're watching this on video, which most of you will, because the live audience is small, then we're going to ask you to look at some of this stuff and whether you should be cleansing or not. So we'll go right into the first PowerPoint I put together. And this PowerPoint is basically called Intestinal and Personal Evolution. And here's sort of a little snapshot of your gut bugs. And when we want to cleanse is because we want to clean up some of this slime growing along here. These critters here feed on the slime underneath them here. So that's part of what cleansing is getting this. And then all the veins from here go back over to the liver. Just imagine over up to the upper left. If you're looking at a person, that's what you're going to see is the liver in the upper left quadrant below the rib cage. And our body, it's actually down here on our right side. But when someone's facing you, everything's reversed. So those veins take all the nutrients and all the water and all the protein and the carbs and all the vitamins up back over the liver to be circulated around. And that slime layer needs to be cleaned up and the portal veins need to be cleaned up. So there's a lot of slides on here, and I'm not going to go into so much, but that's the main one is whose consciousness do we think we have here? And the gut bugs can and do make us crave what they want. So we are 90% other, 10% us. Our consciousness is a composite of 90% microbes and 10% us. Our thinking, feeling, creativity, expression are 90% from microbes within us. And then it should be, it seems that way. Clean heart probably is a little bit, it's a little bit absolute. And I think the best we can do is say it seems that way. Patients often think, crave, and behave. See, often is a better word than an absolute statement, I believe. As if they are a parasite. Our thinking is shaded by the microbes thinking through us. The food choices, behavioral choices, and who we like are thinking of the microbes within us expressing themselves. I agree with most of that, but that's not what I've seen entirely. I don't think it's 90-10. Hard to say. It's sort of terrifying to realize that, right? So what we're trying to do in cleansing is get that gut area cleaned out, all that slime that grows along the villi, so that your portal veins get better circulation. And so you've got these little mini garbage cans, these little guys right here. These little mini guys right here. I'm going to turn on my pointer. There. These little guys right here are like your little trash cans in your room. You take your trash cans from your room and you put it in the kitchen garbage bag, right? And then it goes outside to the trash can, which a garbage man comes and gets, right? So this is your poop, this is your pee, this is your breathing, this is your sweat. These might be the lymph nodes. These might be the internal organs, liver, spleen, lymph nodes, kidneys. And then this is the cells themselves. That's kind of how it works. You want to get your trash out. So foundation 3 in my 4 foundation systems about detoxification, getting stuff rounded up in the cells into bigger garbage bags and then out. And then the 4th foundation is drainage. And drainage is about poop, pee, breathing, sweat, secretions of the mouth, the nose, the rectum, well, that's digested, and the penis, the vagina, all that needs to have nice solid out of the eyes, right? Out of the nose, eyes, ears, all those areas have to drain, it's important. The small intestine is part of the fire element, and you should also know, if you're a beginner in this, that the small intestine and the fire element, fire lights stuff up, makes it brighter, so we can see more clearly. So the old native traditions would talk about discernment, and you're able to discern or see neutrally what you see in yourself and others. It's a good reason to cleanse, to become more discerning and less judging. We talk about the heart mind a lot. I'm not going to spend much time on that, but notice this little slider on the bottom. Fungus starts to grow right here. It grows, starts to sporulate, and the spores pop and repeat the cycle. And it's an insidious thing to see. In a healthy gut, these are the 7 things that I'm looking at as a practitioner. What kind of microbes are living in there? The tissue or the gut lining itself, the mucus layer made by the body, the ability of the tissue to make mucus, the building materials provided, in other words, the nutrition you're giving your body, the blueprints, which in this case is, am I making healthy cells in the first place? Standard process makes protomorphogens. And then the waste produced by what is upstream. So if you've got waste up here, like mercury fillings, cavitated infections in your sinuses, and problems with your sinuses up here, then it's going to drip down. You got cavitated infection in your throat, it's going to drip down. So what's above affects what's below, what we're trying to say here. So this is an important thing to realize, and that summer is the best time to cleanse your intestines out and do fasting and do raw and do juices because it's warm. So abnormal flora, see, we have a normal coating over the villi, and then there's an abnormal coating. So what we're trying to do with cleansing is to get rid of this bad, toxic-laden, bug-feeding layer of biofilm. Why? Because guess what, folks? Fungus, which a lot of us have problems with fungus and yeast. Yeast and fungus are the same critter, basically, just different name. Mold, yeast, fungus, same family. And their job is to eat up rotting matter. So if my finger is got gangrene, then I would expect mold to grow on it, because don't blame the mold for the rot. So if you have bad smelling farts, bad smelling breath, bad smelling underarms, bad smells in general, you can almost guess that you're rotting from the inside out, and not to blame the mold for doing its job in you for your rot. And our rot is generally caused by excessive eating. Excessive eating and being unable to digest the food. It burdens everything else. So this thing is upstream, right? We make the decision to overeat because it tastes good, but we need to stop that. So this is different versions of what the intestinal line looks like. The most detailed here. And these little critters here are one cell. See, when the food comes along right here, then it sloughs off. See, the cells are born, they get old, they die, and they slough off. And then you see another version of that here, and another version of that here. See, each of those little marks as one cell. All respect for the small intestine. These are some samples of what's inside of people. One of those came out of me, and some of the others came out of other people. But I mean, it's just frightening. I mean, stuff come out of you, and yeah, that's my experience right there. Those could be living inside of you right now, and they are. 9 out of 10 of you have overgrown stuff inside of you, and you don't even know it. And they're pooping and they're peeing waste that is making you sick. See, what we do not digest digests us. Talk about the mold again. This is some ideas. If you want to watch this on the video demand, you could freeze it on this cell. I'm not going to go into it. Some ideas about getting rid of biofilm. Cleansing is definitely like the second one. It definitely, things can go backwards. Things can seem really off, but you want to make sure. There's that slide again, see? And then there's a version of it right there, see? That came out of someone I know right there. So you don't want to be talking to your guts. Your gut bugs are listening to you. And so you don't want to let them know what you're planning to do. So really what you want to be doing is talking calmly to them. And my greatest work with my gut bugs occurred when I started to just say, hey, let's prune the tree. The violent thoughts ended, the war ended, the war on the bugs, the war on the candida. Once that ended, I started making progress. So everything eats and everything shits. And their shit is part of our inflammatory process. So keep that in mind. There are some facts about parasites. I'm not going to go into it because that's not what this main talk is about. You can pause here and read that. There is just a problem with stuff upstream. You can pause and read this. This is part of enemas are a great part of cleansing. Great way to get your gut bugs straightened out, provide a better terrain. There's all kinds of more information here about cleansing the gut. Some great facts here about the biofilm on our gut lining. I'm not going to go into it now. There's some facts about mold, so please pause if you'd like to read more about this. And then there's the thing I'm going to introduce, and then we're going to end this, and that's most bugs, in my opinion, Gunther Enderlein and Klinghardt, Dietrich Klinghardt, the three of us would all agree on that most bugs, biopleomorphs, mean they can shapeshift and change shape and form based on the body that they're occupying. So we all have sort of a unique set there. And there's different pages of it here. You can pause in any one of these. And there's just a lot. And see, there's different links here you can go click at. Some of the solutions, though, when you're cleansing are right here. I spent some time researching this. So catarrh is basically toxic biofilm. These are herbs to help and foods with that. If you have worms, there's what should actually be on here is black walnut and wormwood. Also, sweet anise should be on this. Pretty good fungus herbs here. Neem is not on there, nor Guducci, so some of these need to be updated. And virus stuff. What's missing on here is St. John's wort and lemon balm's right there. Lemon balm's very gentle, antiviral. I probably will update this at some point. And then MMS is one option. It is not pool bleach. Do not think of it as such because it's not even close to pool bleach. And that's the end of this part of the presentation. And we're going to go to one other document. And I believe we talked about most of this. So here's some of my themes in cleansing. For a 3-week cleanse, this is the general theme we do but we focus on the small intestine in the summer, is clear up, get rid of the junk that's in the system. Then clear out the bad tenants. You can think of the clear pathogens means you got to clean up the slummy apartments that attract the bad tenants and then rebuild in the last week. So this is generally occurring. Our body's trying to do it, but we're just getting out of the way, especially with getting our diet a little more cleaned up. That's generally the theme. And you can freeze here. This is generally some morning drink ideas, basics for cleansing, especially in the heat. Generally, week 1 involves a lot of raw and bitter foods, lots of liquid. The days you can rest, yes, please eat low protein and fat, but if you have to be out there with people, please don't fast. Please eat protein and fat, but use it raw. And vegetarian sources probably better for most people outside of dairy. If you want to do dairy on the cleanse, then see me. Eggs are okay, especially raw or raw yolks. And the only dairy I would recommend is raw milk kefir, raw milk yogurt for some people. But outside of that, I wouldn't recommend dairy. I mean, you could have raw butter also because it's raw. Chia and flax are great protein sources, not the most excellent. Whey liquid, whey powder is good. You could do nettles. Stinging nettles are a great protein source in a juice or cook them up. You could do gynostemma is an herb that's a complete protein source. You could do comfrey, complete protein source. Any chlorophyll-rich food is going to give you some kind of juice, from green foods. If you don't suspect yeast and you don't want to, and you don't mind not losing weight, then fruit's okay during a cleanse. But if you're trying to lose weight, please, you can't eat fruit. G1 Prosh is something I sold years ago. It's not really easy to get, but it's an herbal jam. It's an herbal jam made herbally with ghee and ghee and honey and sugar. Lots of ideas there. No nuts on cleansing. Grains and legumes are on the basic food chart sheet. We really have to keep flesh foods, and we don't want to heat oils. There's a sheet for this on the web page that tells you the basics of what to avoid on a cleanse. We talked about it last week. More vegetables, lots and lots of vegetables, lots of liquid. We went through that. I think we've been through most of this already. Yes. Finally, we'll end the talk with one more short PowerPoint here. So this is from a standard process little webinar, and I'm giving credit to David Hosgood. I saw this a few years ago, and so this is, like I said, there's a disclaimer here. Please read this. We're just trying to give a little bit of ideas. So you got sugar cravings. Gymnema is one of the best herbs for sugar cravings. This is chromium product with whole food base, and inositol is great. Metabol complex is their herbal product. Fenugreek, black cumin, bitter melon, and cinnamon. Great product. I've used it myself whenever I have problems with waking up in the middle of the night and having a hard time going back to sleep. That's usually reactive hypoglycemia. I had good success with this product, with GTF, and also with some B vitamins. Immune system support, we're not going to go into. That's not really relevant for this cleanse, but if you need it, this is the long-term immune product. And if you get COVID or a flu, Andrographis and Conjuplex. Andrographis, Tulsi, and Echinacea are in this Andrographis complex. One of the best herbal antibiotics we got. See, it talks about what Conjuplex is: acute immune support. Immuplex is long-term immune support. In between illnesses, acute illness. If you need, you got something up, these products here, you can freeze this page. You got stress, you could add Nevaton to this list. These two are great. And he's talking about post-holiday stuff, you can pause on any one of these. So he's talking about stuff where we get endocrine disruptors and so we can have hormone resistance, we can have insulin resistance, we can also have thyroid hormone resistance. We can also have adrenal hormone resistance. We can have stress hormone resistance. And then we just get in a lot of trouble because the liver can't process all this fast enough. And then the toxins contribute to all these things: food cravings, brain fog. And a lot of these are also low enzyme counts. So more raw will definitely help, and more enzymes will help you too. There's 3 phases of detox, third phase being drainage. See, it's really important to make sure you get this down and see phase 1, phase 2, really good stuff to understand the half-life and how long it takes stuff to break down in the body. You can look that up on the web usually. This is their main easy product. It's a shake. For standard process, I use pretty much their cleansing products, but I do branch out and use, anybody might have a different cleanse than anybody else that comes in my office, depending on context, so keep that in mind. This is a great product because it's a number of products all in one, and it is vegetarian based. You just do shakes. You do shakes and raw veggies, and that would get you through the cleanse. So it has all the ingredients of this SP Complete Shake Mix. It has all the fiber components of this fiber product. My favorite product in the line, SP Cleanse, and then SP Green for the greens. So a short list of what's in this product. See, if you're a protein type, you're not going to do that well with pea protein in general. But the flax is a good protein. Pumpkin seed protein is good. And you see there's quite a list of amazing stuff in here in this product. And then what they do is they go into each product a little more, kind of showing you, like there's beta glucan in the oat fiber. They're talking about, you can pause this and see about insulin sensitivity and GLP-1. There's your bioflavonoids. So super grain bioflavonoids. Beets for the liver, thin the bile. And there's some more products with more beets, and there's the product that SP Detox Balance. That's what it's in right there. Magnesium, food-based magnesium. So you're just going through all the different products you might need and see how radish influences liver detox enzymes. Wonderful. Radishes and raw beets. If you're going to do something that's a food, those are the two best vegetables you can eat for cleansing. Raw carrots to move stuff through, and raw beets and raw radishes to dredge stuff out. NRF2 activators. Powerful protein latent within each cell, unable to move until it's released by an NRF2 activator. See, look at that. Look at all that good stuff. The master regulator of the whole antioxidant system. And look what activates it. Beets, turmeric, radishes, green tea, Japanese knotweed, ashwagandha, and buckwheat. You're going to see a lot more plants in this. This is a really limited list, but hey, you got enough in there. There's some more ideas from about NRF2, a major master antioxidant. You can pause any one of these. You can see there's a lot of data. Reducing your EMF exposure is going to be huge. I'm talking about some of the herbs in the formula that you're taking. So, folks, this is a 3-week cleanse. And if you would like to, it's $299 for the complete package. I'm here this Friday, Friday the 25th. I'll be around from noon, roughly noon till 6, 1 till 6, sometime in that range. And it's open office hours for anybody who wants to come in, pick up their cleansing products. The cleanse starts Monday, for me at least, and whoever wants to join. There is a cleanse list. If you'd like to be on the list and not pay anything, you can certainly be on the list and get the emails and all the information. It's no sweat off my back to add you to a list. You don't have to pay a dime for that. So we'd like to just be part of the process and get some of the group emails, and I'll do some Facebook interactions. But cleansing is both for me a public process of my public face you see here, and a private process that I need 4 times a year because I'm out and about a lot, helping a lot of people. So the last thing I wanted to show you guys, what did I pull that up for? Is my web page. So if you go to my website, healthalchemy.com, that's the home page. You go to more and cleansing purification. Summer deep cleansing is the page. So we have a cleanse in the fall coming up in September, end of September, October. We have a cleanse every summer at some point in the summer. We have a cleanse every spring, usually in March, and we have a cleanse every winter, usually after Christmas and the New Year, sometimes 2nd, 3rd, 4th week in January. So do some inner work, folks. Here's our 21-day cleanse. If you send someone to this site, keep in mind that I labeled the cleanse here, but I go right into a water fast. So I could have designed this webpage a little better, but the 3-day water fast is people that want to explore their inner wilderness and those who want to build a better world. Please join me for a water fast from July 13, 14, 15 will be the water fast, and 12 to the 16 are the prep days. So with that being said, if you're going to do a 3-day water fast, you need to prepare 3 days ahead of time and lessen the amount of foods you're eating and add in food slowly 3 days after. So this is really kind of a 9-day process if you really are sincere. But you could do 1 day on either side and do okay. Just don't eat a lot and eat mostly raw food, and end your water fast with raw carrots or juice. This describes that water fast, and it describes the schedule from the 12th to the 16th out at Heartland Collective. And if you work your way down past that, little gut bug stuff, and then there's the cleanse calendar. So see, we're here on the 23rd giving our second talk. If you'd like to get the clinic exam, see noon to 6 this Friday. I'm giving a talk on the community dinner this Friday night. I am in my office on Sunday for last minute pickups, but I won't have a whole lot of time for exams. And then June 28th, the cleanse begins for me. But if you want to start it earlier or later, that's fine too. And then there's some ideas here about the talk, and please jump in the cleanse anytime you want, if you want. Now, there's other cleanse options right here you can look at. And this is one of my pages in my Google Drive embedded, and see welcome, basic cleansing rules, ways to use the cleanse. So this great set of documents here with 12 pages of basic ideas. Interesting. Takes us to the web page there. So you can go to any of these links here. You can see the products that I want for the cleanse. And I did put the Zoom call link on here, interestingly enough. And then there's the cleansing stuff. So see small intestines highlighted, and it's got lots of resources there for you. Lots and lots of resources. See, there's your stuff you want to start with, the cleansing rules. And then if you need the basic food chart, that is available to you. Weekly food chart, SP cleanse, basic food chart. So you can run your cleanse from my website. That's the Google Drive page, and it goes all the way down, 12 pages worth of good stuff. So I hope you all enjoy your cleanse, and I hope that I can see some of you, because I believe we make a better world when we're clear. And so that's why I teach a natural law class. It's about how to interface with reality versus the legal illusion that's being forced upon us from the USA corporation, posing as a government. And that's why, so that's part of health, being clear and understanding your fear and your trauma. And if you're not acknowledging your fear and your trauma in the past, then you're probably needing to be humble and admit that you've got stuff floating under the surface. People tell me it's all good, but in my work with people, pretty much every single person that says they're good has something under the surface that they need to do work on. Some trauma from age birth to age 8. It doesn't have to be a physical abusive trauma. There's lots of minor ones. And the cleanse makes us clearer and opens us up to insight, both from ourselves and others, and generally allows us to slow down so we don't have to get sick to force ourselves to slow down or have an accident or an injury. Because a lot of our accidents and injuries are nothing more than sabotage to force ourselves to slow down. I was one of those people. With that being said, much love to you all. If you're watching this recording, I really appreciate the fact that you're even trying to attempt to do this. I probably mulled over cleansing for 3 to 5 years in my late 20s into early 30s, and then finally started doing them. Enemas were no different. Mulled it over for a year. Now I'm probably 15 years into enemas, and I swear to God, I did some earlier that it was just the most amazing experience. And so cleansing is the way to clean. That's your mirror all the way down, all the way down. If it's cloudy and weird and discolored and hamburger helper, see, this cleansing shake here is some powder in it. I think the pea protein from you, see? It's that film. And if you got a film here, then there's a film down below, and that film is feeding bugs. That's my point. You don't want a film on your tongue per se. You want a very light, clear or white coat. So come on in, check it out. We have lots of ways to assess people in my office, and look forward to seeing some of you at some point. Maybe I'll see you on the Friday community dinner. Maybe I'll see you in person. Maybe I'll see you on Sunday in the office. But either way, wishing you all well, and hopefully you have a great, great evening. Bye-bye.